Hello everyone, I am Afifa Nabila, and in this time I'm going to reflect what I have learned from the previous meeting with the topic Students Review on Adapting and Adopting English Teaching Materials. Without any further ado, let's start the presentation. In teaching English, there are two main approaches that are often used by teachers, namely adapting and adopting open materials. Now we will talk about the adaptation first. Adaptation means adjusting existing teaching materials to make them more relevant to the learning context and student needs. This adjustment process may involve changing the content, format, or delivery method to make the material easier to understand and appropriate to the student's culture or ability level. For example, materials designed for native English-speaking students may need to be conditioned or modified for students learning English as the foreign language. So, in what condition we have to adapt? The first one is when the materials are not appropriate to the cultural context or student needs. And the second one, when material is too difficult or too easy for students. And the last, when students need additional practice or a different approach to understand certain concepts. And there are some challenges that might be found when adapting materials. First, students are confused to understand the textbooks, which has changed frequently. The second one, adopting material provide extensive assignments that make student workload increased. The third one, the level of each skill change inconsistently. It makes students troubled to understand the material. Besides the challenges of implementing the adaptations, here's the advantages of adaptation in English teaching materials. First, the material is relevant culturally, so that it makes students easier to connect with learning content. Second, the learning materials integrated the various learning activities that it can help students to remember what they learned. The third, there are flexibility for adding some exercises in certain skill that we need to improve. The next discussion is talk about adopting. Adopting means using existing open materials without change. This approach is used when the teacher feels that the material is good enough and in accordance with the learning objectives to be achieved. This second strategy is important in language teaching because it helps teachers ensure that the teaching materials used are effective and can meet students' learning needs. So the next is in what condition we have to adopt. The first thing is when the material is relevant to the student's level and does not require modification. The next, when the material supports the established curriculum and learning objectives are appropriate. The last one, when there are no significant cultural or linguistic context differences that require material changes. And we also have challenges that may be found when adopting materials. First, the lack of cultural relevance to the student's cultural or local context. Second one, the students get boring because of repetitive materials or activities in textbooks. The last one, the learning materials are imbalance of providing the content or activities. It just highlights particular skills. Besides the challenges of adopting the materials, here's the advantages for implementing adoptions in English teaching materials. First, students feel appreciated to find the textbooks whose correlation with previous and the next material. It makes it easier for students to understand. The second one, students feel helped to learn for exam because the textbooks contains all of the comprehensive knowledge for each skills. The third one, students don't need to extra exercises for higher level tests such as TOEFL because it is included also on the textbooks. By understanding the concepts of adaptations and adoption, teachers can be more flexible in managing their teaching materials and ensure English learning runs effectively, both by using existing materials directly and by making modifications according to the student's need. Alright, that's all enough from what I deliver. Thank you for your nice attention and goodbye.